Am I the asshole for telling my sister it's not my fault she could never go to her dream school? The family dynamic is messy and complicated, so if there's any confusion, let me know. I'm the oldest out of my 4 siblings. Me, 43 male. Julia, 40 female. Kenzie, 27 female. Katie, 23 female. Julia doesn't play a part of this. She disowned the family and yeah. Our dad ran out on us and mom was busted for possession, among other crimes, when Katie and Kenzie were still very young, so they ended up in the custody of my grandma. If you ask them, they survived WW2, when it wasn't that bad. Our grandma was overly protective and tired having to take care of kids again. But nothing extreme. Her health rapidly declined in the early teen years. I was out of state, so I wasn't a physical caregiver. I was power of attorney, so I was a financial caregiver while they took care of the physical needs. Katie was going to drop out of high school. She barely graduated. This is important for the future. Once she graduated, her and Kenzie came to me. They said they wanted to put grandma in a home so Kenzie could take a manager position, and Katie wanted to get out of town, go to our state capital, take classes at a community college and transfer to their selective university. She said a teacher who knew her situation believed she had potential to get there and become something great. They said it wasn't possible when caring for grandma. I told them no. They've resented me since. Katie went to a community college in our town and flunked out right away. After grandma died, she went back and has been doing alright. She fell into a depression after her boyfriend cheated on her. She was talking about it to Kenzie and myself and said the thing that hurt was the person he cheated with was beautiful, talented, and then she said his affair partner actually goes to her dream school. She said this girl was everything she should had in life, well-rounded high school experience, parents to support her, a great education, and now this girl had truly taken everything from her. Then she mentioned she should have been at that school, but she was wiping the ass of something who called her every name in the book for 2 more years longer than she should have. This isn't the first time she's been tipsy and made a passive-aggressive comment, so I told her, Katie, I'm not the reason you couldn't get into your dream school. You failed out right away from CC, and would have did the same thing there. You weren't ready and can't accept that. Kenzie told me I was an ass who didn't understand burnout. Am I the asshole? Update. Guys, it seems I need to redirect you all. The question is not am I the ass for having them care for grandma. It's not taking blame for Katie chasing a crazy dream and going to her dream school. I get it, I'm a jerk and selfish. Thanks. Now the real question, please. Of course you are the asshole. You were raised with 2 parents, and your teenage sisters were forced to be raised by an elderly woman who didn't want to watch them. And they were forced to physically care for her, while you held all financial power over them. And have the gall to say, it wasn't that bad. You are the asshole. You are 20 years older than your sisters. They should not have been forced to play nursing home for their grandmother while you were off living your life and doing whatever it is you do. You did, indeed, ruin their lives. And you think their issues were no big deal? Of course you think that you disappeared. Am I the asshole for telling my mom I'm never going to ask her to babysit again? My husband and I haven't been baby-free in months. My husband is a SAH dad and I work a few hours a week but am mostly at home as well. Financially we are stable enough but not where we could afford daycare or a babysitter. As every parent knows, a break from baby is much needed every once in a while. He's had a cold, so extra cranky on top of entering typical toddler phases. Between bleeding ears and being touched out, our nerves are shot to say the least. I asked my mom at 11 if could she please babysit for 4 hours so we could have a break. She said yes. My mom is our only family capable of babysitting within a 2-hour radius. She lives 15 minutes from us. However, despite her constant assurances, she is rarely available. She never says no directly but will beat around until I say never mind. Yesterday I was desperate. Had a migraine, needed to clean, and just needed quiet for a bit. She insisted he have a nap first. Logical, agreed. He slept an hour so I let her know I was coming. She said okay, then called back and said she had to step out and she'd be back in a bit but I can bring him over because I had a key. I said I'd wait till she got back. That was at 12 p. I called at 1 to ask if she was home. She said no, getting food. I said okay, I'd go in another hour. She said okay. At 2, I let her know I was heading her way. We actually get there at 3, giving her leeway since she hadn't responded, she's still not home. I video chat her, she's at someone's house. I told her if she didn't actually want to babysit, she really could have said that. She says, "No, I just hadn't seen her friend all year, so I stopped by to say hi and got caught up talking. I'm coming." So we waited. She shows up at 4:30. I'm upset. Migraine on 100, baby extra cranky, nothing accomplished. I politely let her know the time frame to do what we needed has passed because dinner and bedtime was coming and I still needed to get groceries, so there was no point in her keeping him. I gathered his stuff to leave while she sarcastically apologizing for taking too long. She'd already told her husband my son was coming and he wanted to see him when he got off work, just making it seem like wasn't a big deal. I turned and told her this was a complete waste of the day. I should have never asked her because she's unreliable, even in emergencies, which has happened twice where she's agreed to babysit then call within the hour for me to get him. And I won't ever ask her to babysit again because it's obvious she has no interest in doing so but would rather lead me on about it than outright say no. She gets offended and starts a tirade, but I'm over it, so I leave. Later she and her husband message me saying I was being harsh and she wants to be part of her grandson's life. I wasn't being fair. I'm wondering if I was being an asshole because I upset at that moment. So am I the asshole here? Edit. Character limit got me. But I should add every time I say I'd save to find a babysitter, my mom would insist family needed to keep him. I kind of agreed due to the crap you hear about babysitters abusing kids, and I know my mom wouldn't do that. I had money to pay her to keep him and she knew this, so this isn't a case of I want free babysitting from her. Edit. There's a few people asking about my husband and the work situation. My husband is disabled and he's had recent medical scares, the mentioned emergencies. That would not be good to leave him alone with baby for a typical full workday. We tag team our son so we get individual mini breaks as needed at home, but there's never not a moment our son is not within our hearing or line of sight honestly. The bills and household child necessities are covered, my working helps out with that as well. Overall, the reduced hours I work helps my family's needs, but it doesn't constitute being able to do daycare. I don't ask for babysitting often at all because I realize he's ours and we chose to have him and we're happy to raise him. But again, a break every once in a while is needed. I've come to the conclusion we'll save up and try to plan so we won't burn out instead of relying on my mom. Final edit. I truly appreciate the feedback and advice given here. I also realize I wrote a lot, so it's understandable there are a few who've missed some points I've addressed while giving me their feedback. I apologize about that confusion. It was a lot going on and hard to compact necessary information. Using the advice given going forward, I know what to expect and what actions I need to take. Again, I really appreciate everyone taking the time to read and comment. Happy New Year to you all. Smile. Not the asshole. She doesn't want to babysit. She just wants to be seen to be wanting to babysit. Not the asshole. If she has agreed to babysit, then obviously it needs to be done at the time it is useful, not 4.5 hours after the initial agreed time. Also, am I the asshole hates the idea of being able to rely on family, so be prepared for a bunch of people who are just furious at the idea that you'd expect a bit of help on occasion. Am I the asshole for telling my son that his dad took away his Christmas gift? Over the summer, me, 39F, my husband, 42M, and my son, 7M, took a trip to Myrtle Beach. We had a great time at the beach and we stopped at a nearby gift shop to pick up some souvenirs. My son spotted a toy ball with cute strawberry characters on it. He absolutely loved it and begged me to buy it for him. I told him that maybe Santa would get it for him for Christmas. I then purchased the ball and put it away for Christmas. 4 months go by. Not a week goes by that my son doesn't mention the ball. Quite frankly, I've never seen him so excited about something before. I was super excited for him to open it on Christmas morning. So Christmas rolls around and my husband and I give my son his gifts. He opens the ball and he's ecstatic. My husband, on the other hand, was less than thrilled. He knew all about the ball, but apparently he had never taken a close look at it. He tells me he's concerned that our son would want what was clearly a toy for girls. I was shocked and tried to explain that it was just a toy ball and it didn't really matter who it was marketed for. He drops the conversation and I thought the issue was settled. So fast forward a week. The ball suddenly goes missing from our house. My son is distraught and I have no idea where it went. My husband then reveals to me privately that he had given the ball to his brother to give to his younger niece and purchased him a different one, Spider-Man, which, granted, he loves. I was obviously livid. I reminded him of our son's love for the ball, and how excited he was to get it. I told him that what he did was incredibly insensitive and thoughtless. Husband argues that he did it for the greater good, and that he was protecting our son from bullying. I replied that he was being ridiculous and that our son wouldn't be bullied for having a toy that is traditionally viewed as being for girls. To be honest, it didn't even look like a girl's toy. So here's where I may have taken things a bit too far. I told my son, "The reason why the ball is gone is because your dad gave it away to someone else without asking." My husband was immediately angry with me and told me that I'm trying to turn our son against him, and that I should have left it alone. He's dead set on the fact I'm in the wrong here, but I feel like I was just telling the truth and that it needed to be said. Looking back, maybe it was a bit wrong of me to tell my son the truth, as that's going to hurt him and strain their relationship. But at the same time, I don't think it's right for my husband to interfere with our son's Christmas gift without consulting either of us first. Perhaps I could have handled the situation better by not telling our son. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your husband is a real piece of work. How do you think he's going to react if your son turns out to be gay or transgender? He is the one that crossed the united front line and made a unilateral decision, not you. He has no right to be angry at you, and needs therapy to get over the idea that a ball with strawberries is a threat to his manhood. Not the asshole shutting husband down for his lying and manipulative bullshit by making honesty a good policy is fine. But just be sure that you are not also playing games where he can expose your behavior. Wow. Firstly, NTA. Secondly, please DM me if you need help. So many red flags have turned up from this one interaction you're talking of. The toxic masculinity, the gaslighting, the high-key homophobia and sexism, it's just a yikes the chat. Highly recommend a divorce attorney and track shoes, cause girl you need to run. Am I the asshole for laughing at my niece's gift? My 12-year-old niece is really into arts and crafts, and recently got into crocheting. Before Christmas, she told me that she had a surprise gift for me, and seemed really excited about it. I told her I was really looking forward to it as well, and prepared her gift myself, which was actually art supplies. On Christmas, when we had our family gathering, she brought me her gift, and was super excited for me to open it. When I opened it, I saw a crocheted animal, but if I'm being honest, it looked really bad. To give you an idea of what it looked like, imagine something from Bad Taxidermy but in crochet form. I couldn't help but burst out laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing no matter how hard I tried to suppress it, so I had to excuse myself to go to the washroom, where I locked myself for nearly 10 minutes. When I came out, my niece was in tears with her parents trying to console her, and I apologized profusely and told her that I really liked her gift, but she kept crying and shouted at me, calling me a liar and that she sucked at art. My niece avoided me for the vast majority of the party after that. I tried to make her feel better by displaying her gift on my living room cabinet, but my wife pulled me aside later in the day and told me to take it down after the party because it was, in her words, really ugly, and made her uncomfortable. Surprisingly, all the adults was very understanding of my situation, but I feel really bad because I feel like I destroyed my niece's confidence, and I'm not sure how I can make it up to her. You are the asshole. She's 12 and she worked really hard on something. Man, it breaks my heart just to think about her getting laughed at. Poor kiddo. Edit. If you see this, I bet there are a ton of us who would love to buy one your niece's crocheted creations if you can get her to start making them again, and help her with an Etsy shop. I'll buy the first one. Edit 2. Really wasn't expecting this to be the top comment. And a lot of people have rightfully suggested that maybe the next best step isn't the niece selling her creations on the internet. Point taken. But I'd still totally buy one of these crocheted animals, so hopefully someday I can. You are the asshole. She's a child and you made fun of her work. Furthermore, you laughed for 10 minutes. What is wrong with you? You are the asshole. Laughing at a gift somebody was looking forward to giving you is just mean. You've likely permanently damaged your niece's self-image with your inappropriate reaction.